Hi friends, welcome back to part 2 of our Lord of the Rings inspired Elf on the Shelf activity. So we are doing the cloak and the hat for Gandalf the Grey. We already did the staff and the beard. If you want to check that out, it's in the video prior. We're going to just need a couple of very simple items, some felt and a thread and needle. We're going to use obviously gray, and a piece of cardstock just to measure the elf's hat. So what I did was I just did about a 1/2 inch thick piece of cardstock, and I used it to measure the brim of the elf's hat so that this would fit. Like I told you in my previous video, I definitely am not a sewer. That's not my thing, but I can do very simple stitches, so I do not use any type of forms or any type of patterns to make any of these clothing items for the elves. I kind of just measure as I go along. But I did measure this out, and it looked like it was about 6 3/4 inches long. So that's approximately how long we're going to make this. I did have a little bit of extra on each side just so that I can pinch it at the end if I have to adjust. But I just marked it with a white pencil, and then I cut along that line. I did go ahead and start stitching just so I can take up a little less time here, but you're basically going to fold where that point is. So fold at the point, and then the 2 bottom seams there are just going to be where your brim of the hat is going to be attached after you're done sewing up this side. So I'm just going to show you how I did a quick stitch here. So what I did was I went from the bottom up. I go about a 1/4 inch from my last stitch, and I put it through the bottom, and then you're going to pull up back to the top, and then from there you're going to go about halfway from the stitch you last did to the stitch you just did, and you're going to reinsert the needle there and then pull, and you're going to just continue that all the way down the back of the hat. Okay, so once you get to the end of the hat, you're just going to kind of give one last little stitch there, and then I'm not finishing it off here, so I'm basically just going to turn this hat inside out so that the seam is not showing, and then I'm going to finish stitching the last couple stitches on the outside after I measure it on the elf's head. So this is just going to kind of help me gauge where I'm going to start my brim at. Like I said, I don't use any type of patterns here, so I just kind of go along and see how everything fits as I'm going. And I'm kind of just turning that bottom part up just so I know that I have enough to stitch the brim to it. And then once I do that, I'm just going to pinch the bottom part. Like I said, we're just kind of customizing the fit here, and we're going to just do a last couple stitches so that it's nice and snug. Obviously don't make it too tight so that it's difficult to get onto the elf's head, but tight enough to where you know it's not going to go anywhere. And you just put the needle through while it's on Little Miss Darlin', and then we're going to pull it off and finish the stitch there. And then after that, you're just gonna cut away that tiny little tuft that's left over that I'm kind of pinching right there. Okay, so we're just gonna grab the other piece of that felt, and I just used a protractor to kind of get a nice little circle there. So what I did was I just measured the inside of the hat, and I'm marking off basically that measurement inside the hat. I just did 2 little dots to where that would be, and obviously you could see that's definitely not perfect, but it's fine. We're just going to go with it. We're going to make a little snippet in the middle, we're just going to go around the hat as best we can. You can do a perfect circle here, but again, it's fine. I'm telling you, it's not that big of a deal. Once you get it all stitched onto the hat, it's going to be on the underside anyways, so don't worry about it looking a little imperfect. It'll be fine. Just do the best that you can, and if there is a little bit extra on the inner brim of the hat, it's fine. You just kind of pinch it together and sew it onto the cone of the hat. So you're just going to attach both sides. You're going to get the cone, you're going to kind of just snuggle it in there. That little flap I left up on the cone of the hat, like I said, we're going to attach the brim to that, but you are going to like undo that. That was just to make sure that it would fit. So you're going to kind of lay it flat and pinch the hat to that. Do you see how I did that? It's just that little extra so you know that you have something to sew to. So I'm going to start in the back where that seam already is, and we're going to lay that flat together. And we're going to do exactly as we did for the stitch we used for this end of the hat. So you're going to go about a quarter up and then pull through, and I'm just basically doing that all around the hat. And like I said, at the end, if you have a little bit left over, it's fine. You're just going to pinch it together and you're going to sew through the fabric. It's not a big deal. So I'm just showing you how I finish my stitch. I put the needle through. See how it makes a loop there? You're going to put the needle through that loop so it creates a knot. And I just do that about 3 times each time I do a stitch for an ending, and it's fine. And that's our hat. I kind of just crunch it up here. Again, this is Gandalf the Grey. He's has no perfection to him as far as his clothing goes. It's a pretty cool outfit, but you want it to look a little bit weathered. And that's our finished hat. Now I'm just going to show you how we create the bend in the hat. You don't have to do this. My husband was like, oh, we really should do the bend. And I said I was thinking the same thing, and we kind of brainstormed and thought of a paper clip. So most people have paper clips in their house. Again, we're trying to do this as inexpensively as we can. So we just grabbed that, we straightened it out, and then I folded it in half and I created a bend the way that I thought it looked best. You can do it going towards the front or the back, but I thought that looked pretty good. Now we're going to start on our cloak. So you're going to grab 2 pieces of felt, and you're going to straighten out your elf, and we're just going to do some tracing. I'm sure people who sew are cringing right now. I'm sorry, but this is what works for me. Like I said in my last video, I can't be too stressed about measurements and all of that stuff, because then I won't enjoy doing this, and that's the whole point, right? We want to get this done quickly, inexpensively, but we want to enjoy it too. So I just cut out both layers at the same time. I'm going to just mention to you, we are going to be cutting a slit down from the neck to about the midsection area. Obviously our elf has a very large head, and she is not going to fit correctly if we don't cut a slit. So with that being said, if you wanted to, you can sew an extra piece of fabric once that slit is made. But what I did was I just basically just laid a little piece of the remnants from the felt that we cut off, and the beard covered the rest. So you'll see once we put this together, it looks perfect, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, we're using the same exact stitch that I showed you before, and we're going to go all the way down that part of the arm. We're going to leave the end of the sleeve open so that her hands can show through. And then we're going to start on the other side of the sleeve with a new piece of thread and go all the way up towards the armpit and then down the cloak until you end at the leg. So the openings are going to be where the neck is, where the hands are, and where the feet are going to come out of. Then we finish our stitch there. And like I said, where we went up and down those 4 areas. And then we're finishing our stitch at the end of this side of the cloak. Felt is super inexpensive. I think Walmart sells a sheet of it for 50 cents. I bought a big pack of it on Amazon for, I think it was $16, but there was, I don't even know, I think there might have been 60 pieces of felt in there. So, you know, it's very inexpensive. This whole project cost, I don't know, about $1.50, I guess, if you got 3 pieces of felt, plus whatever the yarn cost. So it's a pretty good deal if you're trying to make clothes for your elves, because I know how expensive they can be if you're buying them at the store. But this took no time at all. In between the outfit and the staff and the beard, I think it was approximately $5 to make, which is pretty cool. I like to think outside the box when it comes to doing things for the elf. And you'll see I have a couple of things in mind that I want to do, but it's fun. It's fun to make these things. You know, adults can enjoy it as well as kids. So you just flip the cloak inside out. Like I said, there's that little slit that we made, and I'm gonna get a little piece of the felt that was left over from what we trimmed off and just pop it in there. And then we're gonna get our little Gandalf the Grey all dressed up with everything that we made. So there is the beard. And you can see the way that it's positioned, it covers most of the red that's peeking through. You could make a slit in the back instead if you would prefer to do that. And then you can add one of the little fasteners so that you can pinch that and fasten it well if you'd prefer to do that. But this worked just fine for me. I knew that the beard was going to cover it, so I wasn't too worried about it. And then we have our little hat. And you can use the same concept for a lot of different things. I'm going to be doing another project that's basically going to be the exact same thing as far as the hat and the cloak goes, but I'm going to be using black instead for a different character that I would like to do. So I'm really excited about this one. I thought it turned out pretty good. And we are big Lord of the Rings fans, especially The Hobbit. So I'm so happy that it came out good and that I can use that pen afterwards. If you guys like this video, please comment. I'm new at this, so I appreciate your patience with my filming. But like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm planning on doing a ton of Elf on the Shelf ideas that are a little bit out of the box. If you like that, please let me know. And here's our finished product. Thanks so much for watching, you guys.